Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a live stream here. We're gonna get started here in just a minute. Waiting on Foots to hop on here, and we're gonna talk about. We're gonna do a deep dive on the safeties. We're gonna revisit that conversation because there's some names that are starting to kind of creep up in the safety discussion. All right, guys. So we'll be hitting up a lot of the some names that were kind of more brought up in the beginning of draft season, kind of forgotten about. We're going to circle back, and Foots is going to give us a deep dive. Foots is really my guy that I lean on for the secondary. That's his bread and butter. You know what I mean? So we're going to go into that. We're going to discuss them, and we'll try to squeeze in a 5-round mock draft. And just real quick, guys, on the mock draft, we're going to draft on a hunch. We're going to draft on our gut instinct as far as what the Cowboys are going to do, not what we would want, not what fans would want. We're going to look at this as a different, through a different lens. You know what I mean? So you probably will see some different names here. You may see some position groups drafted earlier than expected, but typically this is what the Cowboys do in the draft. So we're going to take a look at it, as far as, through the lens of the Cowboys, what they might do, where some of these positions may go, like I said earlier, than possibly thought of, and that sort of thing. So we'll get into that here in just a second. Okay, so in the meantime, let's go ahead while we wait on Foots. Let's give a shout out to everybody in the chat box. What is up, everybody? We are taking donations for our draft contest, sponsored by the Lunatics. So any super chat of $1.99 or above, you will be entered into that contest. We will be pulling for those winners next Monday. Not this Monday, but the 26th. So 2 caps with glow in the dark player embroidered signatures, really good. It's like a $50 value. They're really awesome. The Lunatic showed me an image of what those look like, and they're really cool. So, and then the other prizes will be a Cowboys Blog hoodie and a Cowboys Blog t-shirt, along with our holographic stickers and wristbands. So those will be cool, guys. So keep that in mind as we get through this conversation. If you do donate a super chat, you will be added into that drawing, and it'll be a lot of fun. So just a quick reminder on that. And Mike and I we will be doing a draft show. For the draft, we'll be covering the first round. Osmondeos, first one up to bat, so you're automatically entered, bro. You're in the contest there for the 26th. So appreciate that super chat, guys. Let me see. Let me check on Foots and see if he is on his way. Let's see what I got. Okay, looks like he's about to hop on here, and we'll dig right into it, guys. We're going to get right into these safeties. And, do a little bit of a deeper dive and see, do we need to reevaluate where some of these guys are? I think we know about Moderig, we know about Richie Grant, but we're going to take a look at some of these other safeties, some that could be on the Cowboys' radar earlier than expected, and then maybe, as a day 2, day 3 type of prospect. So we'll get that going here shortly. Shout out to everybody in the chat box. Let me see who's in here. Christopher C. Diego. Asmado, see you. Izzy Prado, what's up, bro? Jared Adele, appreciate you, bro. Let's get Grant and call it. I know, man. That's the ideal situation for fans, right? I think that's what we all want. So, Stevie Mac, appreciate you as always, bro. Yeah. So Jamin, so that's Jamin Sherwood from Auburn. Yeah, he's a good one there. They have looked at him. I covered that player there. So. And that'll be an interesting one there. And here comes Foots. Let's get him right into action.
Rock roll, baby.
Rock and roll. Holding it down here, bro. Izzy Prado, got you on the list there, guy. Thank you very much. Keep preaching, guys. Yeah, thank you. Chad Butler, happy to be here. All right, guys. So let's get right into it here. Foots.
What's up, Joe? Sorry for the late arrival, buddy. We're locked in.
It's all good. We are locked in.
Up.
Yeah, it's all good. So we're waiting to get blessed by the DB God, Footsdaking. Like I said, he's my plug for the safety, and he has been. You know, Foots and I, we've been doing this for a couple years now. You know, we did a stream last night. That was a banger, and we're gonna do another one here for you guys. So Foots, let's first of all, let me just get your general overview as far as your prediction on will the Cowboys draft a safety at all, and where possibly.
Well, I did some research, and if they're following Dan Quinn's way of doing things, he will take a safety. If they're following, and you look at how McCarthy, he took the Maryland kid 2 years ago. He flew up draft boards. He will. This team will take a safety this year. Let's just say that, Joe. This team will have a safety rated high enough to take.
Yeah, definitely. I think they definitely have to, because we talked about Kazee last night on your stream, and it's just like coming off that recent injury, and I just don't feel too good about that. And then you have the other people underneath, like you still have Darian Thompson in the mix and these kinds of guys. But let's get into your deep dive, Foots. I'm gonna put the image here of the prospects that you're gonna hit us with, the knowledge, and we'll talk about it here. So let me get that up and running here for you guys. And
let me grab my notes too, Joe. I had them right here.
Yeah, it's good. Let me get this set up for everybody. Yeah, Malik, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Everybody hit that like button. We do appreciate you. Yeah, Brian Peters, I agree with that. So looking at this here, so the question marks.
Nice.
You got Trevon Moderig, we got Richie Grant, Jamar Johnson, Jevon Holland, Tyree Gillespie, and Andre Cisco. You can go in any order. Well, I guess let's just kind of go in a counterclockwise order here. So let's start off with Trevon Moderig. Foots. I think you and I are pretty close on this together as being like Trevon Moderig. Could he be like a late one? Definitely a 2, probably. So hit us with
with Moderig, I actually have him as my second rated safety in this class, Joe. Now, if you're talking about just roof guy, center fielder, Trevon Moderig is probably safety 1. However, I like my safeties built for tough. And you know how I feel about Richie Grant, and we'll get to him. But let's go Moderig. For all intents and purposes, Moderig, 6 even, 200 pounds. In today's game, it's money. You get what I'm saying? Like what Trevon Moderig does for you, 7 interceptions. What he does for you is what today's game is. Sideline to sideline, route recognition. The Oklahoma State game I thought was one of his better games. He's never. You'll be hard pressed to find him whether it's a split safety look, whether he's in a cover 1 look. Cover 1 meaning, for those of you guys who don't know, you're the only safety up top. And you have pretty much sideline to sideline to work. Now they may do some things on the back end, have their corners. Defensive coordinators may have their corners and different responsibilities, but ultimately, you're the last line of defense in cover 1. It's not a split safety look, and he was never out of position. He flies to the ball. He's just a really smooth and good-looking athlete. There's no wrong answer between him or Richie Grant. And yes, I do have a 1 on both of those guys, but I'll be interested to see, Joe, if they go in the first round.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting. So, looking at the next prospect here, and that's a great take. Trevon Moderig, I have him.
Another quick thing about Moderig before we move on.
Yeah.
He plays in a defense similar. He played in defense at TCU for Gary Patterson, that 4-2-5. That is very similar to what Dallas does, meaning that based on a strength call, he could be a strength player. For those of you who don't know what a strength player is, basically You got to run the alley. It's like he's not. When I say he's not as physical as Richie, he's not a bad tackler, but it's one of those things where Richie will you're going down as soon as he gets to you. Like that's it. It's over. The play's over. With Merrick, he'll get you to the ground, and he will run the alley. He will be physical and run support, but his game, 100% translates to the league.
Yeah, that's well said. Trevon Moderig, TCU Cowboys were at the pro day. Coach
Yes,
Joe Witt, our new DB coach, was running that. So we saw him running it with Moderig and Ardarius Washington. I don't think Ardarius is really on the radar. I think it's more Trevon Moderig. It looks like it's going to be more the target. And you're already kind of hearing rumors. Of course, this is draft season, smoke and mirror season right now. So Trevon Moderig, supposedly high
Stick
interest
to the
there.
Notes, baby. One thing about Ardarius Washington, too, since we're talking DBs, I got to continue to say this, Joe.
Yeah.
There was talk early on that he could be the better of the two TCU safeties. That's a no. Okay. So I think the pro day kind of cleared that up. And as you dig in the film, Ardarius Washington has some good plays, but there's no question that Moderig is the better player.
Yeah. Moderig, I think, has been the lead dog for a big portion of this. He was one of my early mocks, even before the NFL season had ended. I did like a just one of these ones I like to do early in the season, and he was one of my first ones that I talked about. Foots, Jamar Johnson, the safety out of Indiana. Where are you rating this safety here for you?
I have a 2-3 on Jamar Johnson. And he's really a guy who, for lack of better words, came out of left field, Joe.
Yeah.
Better than players like Sean Wade, who was on everybody's preseason draft watch list. But that's why you play the game, and that's why for some players they play and they get themselves out of contention. And there's players like a Jamar Johnson, Indiana safety, who got himself into contention. The one thing that you like about Jamar Johnson is his play style. He plays extremely. I'm moving through my notes here, Joe. He plays extremely aggressive. Now, meaning he's always around the ball. You can use him. It's funny. I think the way that people feel about Ardarius Washington, they should probably feel about this player, because on big stages, the Ohio State game, he comes in, he's knifing through, he's making big plays, he's had the interceptions. He has a nose for the football. He really, really does. He plays through. The one thing I like about his game, Joe, is when the ball's caught, he plays it. He plays through the ball. He'll try to knife the ball out. Little things like that you look at. Now the size kind of scares me, but in the right scheme, you may look at him, Joe, honestly, more of a nickel player. Could probably be like a nickel corner, but with that tackling ability. But Jamar Johnson, I have a 2-3 on the player, so it's a second or a third round grade on him.
Yeah, I think that's where he's kind of risen, right? Like you said, kind of came out of left field, wasn't really being talked about until here pretty recently. And then this happens every year in the draft. Some of these names start coming out the woodworks, as I say. But yeah, I think he's a solid player. I like what he could do for the Cowboys. As a later round pick, right? Like you said, you have him as a 2-3. I think that's the sweet spot for him as well, Foot. So good look there. Yeah.
And the one thing about it, the 7 INTs, again, just that 5'11". I don't know if he's really 5'11". So when I watch him, he just looks small. And this league, Joe, size, every inch literally does matter. So that's probably like the one knock that I have on him. He's put together well. He's a nice size. Like, he's thick. He's not a small. He's 205. But that's probably like the one knock if I had one on him.
Yeah, that's true there. Foots, the next one here that we're looking at, going counterclockwise. Tyree Gillespie, the safety out of Missouri. I like this player, man. I like him a lot. To me, out of all the ones that we're talking about here, he kind of has these Cam Chancellor type of traits that I really like. Now, as far as being like a true free safety, I don't know. What is your thoughts on Gillespie?
So the problem with Gillespie is the zero ball production, just none. And that's the thing, Joe. Like, evaluators look at that. Now, track guy, He was a 3-star recruit out of high school. Can run, and it shows. When he runs the alley, he gets there, he closes, the play's over. Physical at the point. The problem with Gillespie was I was looking for more consistency in his tape. So there were games where it was like, wow, Gillespie, he's flying off my screen. Then the Florida tape, I'm looking like, dang, did he even play this game? Now, I have more of a 4 or 5 on the player because of that reason. Absolutely zero ball production. That's not good. Now he had some few pass defense, so I don't want to say that he just was never around the ball. But his frame and his skill set screams to me more of a free safety roof guy, but the ball never found his hands. That's not good. So, but I do like the player a lot. I think that in that Missouri scheme, he was good. Him and Nick Bolton. I mean, that's kind of like that's what that defense was. Those guys. So to me, I like Gillespie. I wasn't as crazy as everybody on him because of that Alabama game. He's like, yeah, the Alabama tape was really good, but we have to put together the whole body of work.
Indeed. Yeah, that's a good point. And what Foots means by zero, he literally didn't have any interceptions. So that, the hands, that kind of thing. Now he did have
evaluators look at that, Joe.
Yeah. There's something to be said there, especially for your safeties. Foots, the next one, this is where we're going to get to some interesting conversation. And I mentioned this before you hopped on. A couple of these safeties that were kind of talked about early on were kind of forgotten about, but they're kind of rearing their head back into the mix again. And we're looking at the next one here. Andre Cisco out of Syracuse. Foots.
Ding, 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 ding. So Cisco he's always been my guy. I haven't went anywhere on him. And it's just funny how a narrative was created about this player. First of all, I want to be the first to say that Syracuse's program wasn't that great, and he didn't play. He didn't play his whole year last year. Had the knee injury. But I'll say this: if it's right with Cisco, he can ball, man. 2018, 7 picks. 2019, 5 picks. Last year, he had a pick. He has a way of finding the football. Now, there's going to be people who say, well, he in the counter game and some in the run game, he was out of position. That's fine. But I'm going to take a chance on a 6'1" athlete, 215 frame that can run like he can run. That's just me. I have a 2-3 on him, and it hasn't moved. He was almost close to being in my first round because I see the projection. I see what he can be if he's asked to do one thing with better players around him. I can't name another, draft eligible player coming out of Syracuse, but I do see him flying around on film. Now, does he play a little wild at times? Yes, he does. But I like him. And,
yeah.
He reminds me, he reminds me of, Joe? He reminds me of Juan Thornhill. He does. Same frame, same build, same type of athlete. So when you talk about guys like, our Darius Washington, they're just not the same type athletes that a Cisco is. And when I mean athlete, like he looks the part and he has that build. Cisco has that build that screams to me, okay, that guy can play in the league. He can run. And he has the motor to play in the league. Now, can we clean up can we make his keys better? Can we coach some of those things out of him? But I think that you can. Trust me, I would take a chance on him for sure.
Yeah, Andre Cisco. The only thing there would be the medical, obviously, with the ACL that he suffered this past season. But he was already off to a good start. So he has a knack for the ball, like you said, Foots. He knows how to get that ball. So, and this Cowboys secondary has had a big problem snatching the ball out and getting the ball back for the offense. So, yeah, I like him there. You have him as a 2-3. I think that's where he's rated. If they get him later, the Cowboys will come out and say, if they end up getting him in the 4th or whatever later, they'll be like, well, they'll say we had a higher rating and that's a steal, right? So I like that one there. Shout out to A. Lavelle for the super chat. Appreciate you, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, this is nice. What up, Joe and Foots? The dynamic duo Cowboys draft info and Cowboys content. Stay safe and healthy. Keep up the great work. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much. Yeah, Foots and I are loving this, man. This is our time of year. We really love this.
We thrive during this time of year, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So keep those comments coming, guys.
Yeah. The knock on Cisco, I've heard that. I've heard people that don't like Cisco, and we'll get to Jevon Holland, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But you gotta project, because listen, if we're gonna do that, then we gotta think about Surtain, he's gonna be rated as the top corner in this draft, I'm sure. There's things about Surtain's game that I can pick apart for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so, that's for all these guys. It's like there's holes in but there's no perfect prospect, so that's a good point there. Foots, the next one. Jevon Holland. This is Dane Brugler's guy. Mocked him to us in the second round. What's your thoughts on Jevon Holland? Kind of the forgotten man as well. Cowboys were at the pro day there for Jevon Holland. So Dan Quinn on site there. You have to think it was for, not Lenore, but more for Holland, right? So what's your thoughts on Jevon Holland?
So this is very interesting, Joe. I wrote up a big piece on Holland for you because I know you wanted to do a super deep dive, and he's really probably been the least talked about safety amongst Cowboys circle. So you guys bear with me. Jevon Holland, he's a 4.4 athlete. I think that's what made Dane and the people that Dane's talking to. You also have a Brian Broaddus who's in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made him go back to the drawing board and say, could this be a fit for the Cowboys? Now, early Cowboys, YouTube, Twitter, the whole nine was just completely out of love with Holland. I had Holland right in that mix of the 2, 3, the whole nine, whatever. But when I watch Holland, he for sure is the third safety in this draft as I got more film on him. Now, he didn't play last year. He was an opt-out, okay? But, kind of the same thing that people say with actually it's not the same thing with Cisco, because what I saw, the 9 interceptions, that's real.
Yeah.
The 66 tackles for loss, that's pretty good, man.
That's a really good number. Really good number.
Yeah, and so what and the instincts, this is what I wrote down. The instincts are really good. Hence the INT number. One thing I noticed about his game speed, it could be better, but the cool thing that you see is that they line him up everywhere. So what I saw with Holland versus the other safeties was he literally was in the box. He literally was on the roof. You really never saw Moderig in the box being a force run, like strictly run defender. Well, you saw that with Holland. There is not a play in the tape that I saw where Holland did not want to be physical and not want to stick his nose in there. Evaluators still value safeties that want to play physical, Joe. They do. That's what you saw with Holland. That's where those 66 tackles come from. That was just like, wow. Okay. I was impressed with how he ran the alley and field. I think him and Richie Grant in this draft tackled the best. I just do. I think they will come and they will pop you. Now, the 4.46, I think that you have to be smart with that, Joe, because it's one of those things on film. Sometimes his athleticism doesn't look elite, whereas a Cisco may be out of position, but he does have the elite athleticism that I saw.
Yeah.
His hips were elite. So listen, if the Cowboys like Holland, I just told you all these things. If the Cowboys like Holland in the second round, they're gonna draft him. And for all intents and purposes, man, I mean, he was a 4-star recruit coming out to Oregon. I think it makes sense, man. I think it makes sense. I know that, Twitter and, the internet may have what they have their pet cats or whatever. But if Brugler's talking about it, he's somebody who does a lot of due diligence, Joe. It's something to think about.
Yeah, and we were talking about this. His hit rate is one of the better from the media guys that do these mocks and projections and evaluations. That's why he's one of our guys, like one of our main guys that we go to, Foots. And there's got to be something to it there, and just the fact that the Cowboys have interest. They're not going to send Dan Quinn, our new coordinator, there for nothing, right? So I think it's a good look. It's something to really consider. And then what I like too, the Pac-12 or whatever they're called now. What was it? Pac-10 now, Pac-12.
Pac-10,
so,
yeah.
It's an aerial conference. There's a lot of passing in that conference. So, Holland has been tested a lot in the passing game. And, he has a knack for the ball. And like you said, very versatile, can play in the box. He's a willing tackler. He's not going to shy away from taking on a run. So great take there, Foots. I think this is somebody that definitely needs to be back in the conversation.
Yeah, for him to be a Pac-12 or whatever they call themselves, like you said, Joe, I don't even know, player, he was more physical than I thought he would be. Yeah. That's like when I really dug in, I said, wow, he poppy now. You get what I'm saying? And those are the things that you can't coach, and those are the things that translate to the league. So it's something to think about there.
Awesome. Very good, Foots. And then we'll finish it up here with Richie Grant. I think we kind of know this is your number one, and mine as well. Where the Cowboys have him and Merrick, I think we're probably thinking they probably like Merrick, but Richie Grant, Foots, what is your final take here on him?
I mean, to me, Richie Grant started as my 3, and the more I watched him, I do have a first round grade on Richie Grant. That's how high I am on him. I have a true first round grade on Richie Grant. He ran 4.5 at the pro day. I don't care because when I watch him on tape, when I watched him at the Senior Bowl, every game that I watched, I just saw a player that was in love with football, down in and down out. You'd be hard pressed to find You'd be hard pressed to find a rep, Joe, where Richie Grant didn't bust his ass to get to the play.
Yeah.
Where he, you talking about somebody who's trying to dislodge the ball on every play.
Exactly.
I mean, it's those little things, Joe, that in the league turn to big plays. You get what I'm saying? Because guess what? Big plays are going to happen on your defense. What is your mindset as far as making a play in the third quarter when they just gas you and you got to chase down that play, or you got to be that last line of defense? Can you make a play? And it gives me chills thinking that Donovan Wilson, Keanu Neal, and Richie Grant could be on this defense.
Yeah, totally.
And the ball production is good. 10 interceptions, 3 last year. He has 6 in his second year playing at UCF. I'm glad that he played all 4 years. There's something to be said about playing all 4 years of college football. His game got more and more mature. He dominated at the Senior Bowl. I think that what went underrated was how he was able to play man coverage against tight ends at the Senior Bowl. How he was able to diagnose running backs sneaking out the backfield, get up there, take on the right shoulder when it came to filling down in the alley, something as simple as that. And when you are being that force player, like I said before, I think that Richie Grant I think that he just stole the show. I really do. Some of those other receivers did their thing, but I think that Richie Grant, for all intents and purposes, when it comes to the practice, because, at the Senior Bowl, what you're doing, Joe, you're evaluating the practices. I think that Richie Grant had the best practices of everybody at the Senior Bowl. I really, really do. You could throw a couple other players in there, but I just think he was outstanding. If he's one of those guys that if he starts to slip a little to the second, I would not be mad packaging a few picks and going up to get him and pairing him with my 1 and calling it a draft. I think he's pro ready. I think he could fit in the run game and he could play on the roof.
That's spot on. That's spot on, folks. I love how he has a lot of that Peanut Tillman in him, where he's always looking to knock the ball out and get the ball back for the offense. That's a huge part of his game, like you said. And I feel like he'll project even better as a pro in a defense that has more playmakers around him. We have Trevon Diggs. I think our defensive line will be better, some more pressure, hopefully, and more opportunities for him. But yeah, he's a great player. I think I like both of them there. I think I wouldn't be surprised if one of them comes out of there in the first round. Now here's a good question from Earl GDome 74. Will he be there in the second round, Foots?
Joe, I think that people have grades all over the board. There's folks who have Hamza over some of these guys that we mentioned early. Hamza Nasruddin. I like the player as well. It's gonna be tough to say that. I don't think he'll go in the first round, just because I don't think that the league values safeties. I think there'll be some of these tackles that go, some of these interior linemen that go. But I don't think that the league values safeties the way that Joe and Foots does. I mean, there's been years where we've seen Taylor Rapp, Juan Thornhill, some of these guys who we really had we dialed in on them, and they were sitting there in the second round, and Dallas didn't draft them either. I think that you have some of these edge players that teams are going to fall in love with, some of these second round edge and defensive end players that bash them. And then even some of these linebackers that teams are going to fall in love with. So with that being said, Joe, and Earl, I think that he could be there in the second round. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a interesting way that this draft might set up for it. It's just so many intangibles, as far as like, where do they really have these safeties? It's like we go through a broken record, you and I, covering these safeties, and we always want to give the Cowboys a safety early. But they haven't gone early since Wilcox, and that was in the third round. And
Yeah.
that was a misfire of big proportions. We're talking about a converted running back who just didn't know how to tackle the worst angles, and they left him on the field. So it was just the evaluation of safety by this front office is baffling to me. You know what I mean? And
yeah, the J.J. Wilcox, Joe, you hit that on the show last night, and it's like they really did do that just because I think that he had some type of athletic ability, but it's like, stop trying to, put a Byron Jones in there, or
bingo.
Hey, maybe we could maybe Cheeto can play it.
Right.
Maybe,
yeah.
Oh, you know what? Jordan Lewis, he did it in high school. No, It's like draft a guy for that position. It's needed in the league now. It's a part of, what you look at. Hey, look at what the kid from Tampa Bay was able to do last year. He was was he a first round pick, Joe? I forget my safety.
The safety from
Minnesota.
I know what you're talking about. I don't think he went in the first.
His dad played in the league too. Let me see. But the point is,
Winfield. There you go,
Antoine Winfield Jr. The way he played, it made a difference. It made a difference. So I don't want folks telling me, safety. No, it's if you're gonna make this defense better, you got to get somebody on the back end who knows what they're doing. I had hope in Xavier Woods. He's just not good, man. He's an average NFL player who will probably be out the league in 2 years.
Yeah. They can't keep going day 3 for the safeties, and that's been their average. So day 3, I'm gonna tell you right now, if they don't get a premier safety this year, Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame is going to be your number 1 safety next year. Kyle Hamilton, Notre Dame.
Yeah, you had him pegged for a long time, Joe. You told me about him.
The wingspan, the playmaking ability, sideline to sideline, he's ready to go. And I think this year, under the new defense, under the former Bearcats D coordinator, watch out.
Okay, Kyle Hamilton.
Kyle Hamilton, number 14, Notre Dame. So we'll see what they do. Hopefully we're not having to go through this safety exercise next year. Hopefully they do grab one of these guys this year, Foots. Well, we'll see what they do. Yeah.
Speaking of Notre Dame safeties, I would have loved if they could have drafted my boy that's in Minnesota now. He's a really good player. What's my guy that's in Minnesota? I'm having a brain fart, y'all.
Harrison.
Harrison.
Harrison Smith.
Harrison Smith is a really good safety. And I remember watching him at Notre Dame saying, man, this guy can play. You got to have somebody decent on the back end, y'all. It's just, you got to have it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, guys. We're going to jump into our little quick 5-round mock draft. Shout out to our super chat here, Jerry Penna, for your hat fun. Appreciate you, Jerry.
Nice.
You, Jerry. Can never have enough hats.
It's Joe, and he's in cat mode, baby.
Yes. Winfield. Yeah, appreciate everybody in the chat box. Everybody's signing off, helping us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got great ones here. But let's get right into this mock draft. So you know what we want to get into is taking a look at the Cowboys from what they're going to do. You know, I mentioned this before you hopped on, what the Cowboys might do, not what you and I would do, not what fans want, but where are the Cowboys going to go in the draft? Who are the names that nobody's really talking about that they could come out of here? So we're going to do that here. So guys, get ready for some names that are no retreads really. Outside, maybe the first round pick Foots, we could probably pencil that in, but second through the fifth, let's look at some different names where the Cowboys might actually
This is what I've been wanting to do, Joe. So let's knock this out the park.
All right, so let's go ahead and share the screen, guys. Let's get the simulator going. Hold on one second. Let me get it going.
Take your time, Joe. In the meantime, I saw somebody say something, Joe, that I want to answer in the chat box. Kelvin Joseph could possibly play safety. No, that's what I don't want to do. That's what we were talking about. We do not want to. I don't want to be a team that's doing a bunch of conversion stuff. No, Draft somebody who could play the position. Good. I like the way you're thinking, but it's a no for me.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't want the conversion guys. So here we go, going through the mock. Let me see. Let me close that there.
Pick 10, baby.
All right, so pick 10. We are on the clock. Let's see what the simulator did here. So simulator went Lawrence, Zach, Trey Lance. Interesting. Justin Fields, Penei Sewell, Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Slater.
So that could happen. This is very realistic, Joe, right here.
The tackles are gone. I might need to take a screenshot of this later. This is very interesting because you get both tackles, both offensive linemen are gone. Kyle Pitts is gone. And Mac Jones at 9, that sure as hell could happen as well. So we're on the clock, Foots. Let's not waste any time here. But, you know, DB, obviously, very high.
The pick would be Surtain.
Yeah,
if this happened, it would be Surtain. It would be. So. I'm not, like you said, we know if we're not going to waste time. Let's just knock it out, Joe. We know, you know, I know. If we get wiped out of the tackles, the pick is Surtain or Horn. Easy.
Now, second round, this is where we're going to get into the conversation, Foots, of would they draft a safety? Probably not, just to be quite honest, Foots. What other positions would we look at? So we might need to ignore any safeties that might be here, Foots.
Let's give him another name, Joe.
Let's give him another name, another position. Here we go. All right, so we're on the clock, Foots. So from the Cowboys lens, and that's what this exercise is, they don't draft safeties. We might pass on guys that we've just been talking about. You know, it happened to us with Thornhill, Rapp, and the previous years before that as well, Foots. So Cowboys on the clock. From their perspective, where are they going to go with this pick here in the second round?
All right, Joe. So
we got Surtain in the first.
Surtain. What tackles do we have, Joe?
So looking at offensive tackles, you got Leatherwood, Mayfield. I
knew he would be there. Jalen Mayfield is a good player.
Jackson.
But you know what? I don't think if they can get one early, they'll probably go developmental guy. Joe, let's go back to our DNs now.
Yeah, let's look at edge.
That's going to be where – and you know what? The Washington edge player is somebody that that's a name, Joe.
That's
the one.
I'm thinking because nobody's talking about him, and the Cowboys, they could go edge, and
that just feels like a Cowboy special.
That's what it feels like, and that's what this scenario is, guys. So, we've seen some familiar names: Perkins, Tryon, Osai, Carlos Basham.
I like Joe Tryon though.
Yeah. So we're gonna go Joe Tryon there in the second round.
That's what this is, guys. Washington edge player plays the run well. You guys get familiar with some of these names that we haven't been hearing. That we have not been hearing because this is draft day. You guys, it's there's those mic drops where it's like, what?
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. There's gonna be the mic drop. Foots the other mic drop that could potentially happen here. Mike McCarthy likes wide receivers early, second or third round. James Jones, Greg Jennings, these types of guys. I think for this scenario, we're gonna get Mike McCarthy a wide receiver in the third here. Yeah, so let's look at wide receiver.
Let's stay away from linebacker. Let's stay away from. We got our corner. We feel good about our secondary now. Let's look at these receivers. We didn't get Pitts, but we still want to upgrade our offense a little bit.
Yeah. So Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Tylan Wallace. Atwell's too small for me.
Darby would be my pick, easy.
Darby is so perfect for this team, bro. Like, I've talked about Darby as being, and you were first on this. You got me hip to him. The more I did a deeper dive, I was kind of thinking fifth, but the production's there.
Yeah,
the teammate that he is there, and just that ability that Mike McCarthy wants to slide somebody in. It's not going to be Cedric Wilson. It's not going to be Noah Brown. He's going to get another wide receiver here, and it could be second or third. We already got our second round pick with Joe Tryon. Third round, Frank Darby.
Yeah, let's kind of. I think people really need to go watch how he performed at the Senior Bowl as well, how he ran routes, his ability. For him to be a smaller guy, he plays bigger than what he is. The route run ability is excellent, along with the run after catch ability. Shi Smith is another name that you could look at there. But I have Darby over him. So I feel really good about that pick right there. Because like you said, Cedric Wilson, I'm good.
Yeah, those guys are just going to be their camp body guys, and they play their roles. But you got to prepare yourself. He will, contribute this year, and you're going to have a really bright spot looking at Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Darby. My comp for him is James Jones, and this is a guy that McCarthy and that front office drafted back in the same measurables, same speed. Built, he's got the body armor. Dude, I love Darby. I love that one there.
He's a really good player.
With our second, third round, this is our comp pick now, Foot. So maybe this is what would the Cowboys do here?
I'm looking linebacker all the way now, Joe.
Yeah, I think.
I pegged, and I want to say this before Dane's mock. I've been on Dylan Moses, and I've said. There's no way I'm getting people really forget how good Dylan Moses was before the injury and before some of his shortcomings. Who else do we have there? Now, Pete Warner, if he's sitting here, that interests me a lot. McGrone, really like that player. Who else we got, Joe?
So linebacker, we got Pete Warner, Chasserot, no way. McGrone, Barnes, Purdue.
And Dylan
Moses, Monty Rice. I'm not too high on him.
I'm good on Monty Rice. Honestly, I would probably go Werner over Dylan Moses, but it would be very close if we got to that position. And just because I guess what I like about Werner is he can play all of the linebacker positions,
right?
Versus where Dylan Moses is strictly a middle. So if you want to go Warner, I'm not mad at it, Joe.
Yeah, I think Warner would likely be the pick there, only because they went there, right? They went to that pro day specifically for and it very well could be Baron Browning, but it could be Tommy, Tommy T. But Pete Warner, linebacker, is still a very high need. So yeah, I like that one there with our compensatory. Now we're heading into the fourth round, Foots. So we've already addressed Patrick Surtain, second round. We got Joe Tryon. That's a Dallas Cowboys pick all the way. And then in the third, we got the wide receiver for Mike McCarthy because probably going to go there. And then we just got Pete Werner. So now we're on the clock in the 4th round. Foots, do they look O-line here?
Developmental O-line could be a place where they go.
Deontay Smith. I like that. Walker Little. It's a good one.
D-tackle.
D-tackle.
Let's look at our D-tackle list, Joe. Let's see what we got there.
D-tackle list. That's going to be interior D-line.
Yeah. Safety.
Safety.
Because we haven't won safety yet. So
yes,
I would probably go, like you said, developmental O-line, but I still want to see what's on the board.
You know, I really liked where Dane had Deontay Smith for the Cowboys. He had him in the 3rd, and he very well could go there. I think he would be one of the better ones to snag there. You said safety, right?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Now, what would the Cowboys do here if we're thinking about from the Cowboys lens?
USC kid interests me.
Hufanga, James Wiggins, LeConte, not so much.
Yeah, I'm good on LeConte.
Jamin Sherwood, that's an interesting one. Caden Stearns.
Let's look tackle, Joe. Just maybe one of them years where we just didn't get our safety again, but I like what we got.
You talking about D tackle or O tackle?
Let's go O tackle here. Let's get a developmental guy because we know Tyron is going to get hurt. Maybe we could, they showed that they'll play Terrence Steele, so maybe one of these guys come in and they're better than Steele, and we're good to go. Walker Little would be my guy.
Walker Little, yeah, I think.
Oh, you said Smith though, Joe. If you do a really good job with the O lineman as well. So
I just wonder if he would be there. Would he be a Cowboys selection? East Carolina, not one of the bigger names. The Cowboys have been drafting bigger programs here recently, so I do like him, but I almost feel like it would be Walker Little there. Now, Brendan James or Brendan Himes from Nebraska, that's another one to look at. I think these 4, Robert Hainsey would probably be my 4th guy. I like Deontay Smith better. I like Walker Little. So as far as like who could come in here, right? If we're talking about Tyron Smith losing time, he will lose time. You got Brandon Knight, but would any of these guys be better than Brandon Knight right now, Foots? Deontay Smith, Walker Little?
Walker Little might. Stanford O-lineman. Well, I think they all be better than Terrence Steele, but
exactly, for sure.
I would go now that you bring up the school thing, Joe. Let's go Walker Little here.
Yeah, let's go Walker Little.
Yeah,
we got our lineman. Yeah. And the way this is shaping up, Foots, from the fans' point of view, defense. We just want nothing but defense. But the fact is, the Cowboys won't do that. They're going to sprinkle in, a lot of these.
It's not realistic.
Players. Yeah.
Yeah, you won't even. You would draft. You draft all defenders. Those guys wouldn't even get on the field. You gotta put your team together correctly, and that's what we've said the whole time.
Yeah. So here we are with our comp pick in the 4th round, Foots. Cowboys, where they go? They just got their left tackle. We've given McCarthy a receiver early.
Let's go D tackle here, Joe.
D tackle. Any tight end interest?
D
tackle.
You know how I feel about.
No, the rumor was Marvin Wilson was high interest, but to me, of these guys that would be here, a Mike McCarthy special to me, Foots, would be Osa.
Yeah, UCLA kid.
Yeah, I think
you've had him pegged, Joe. Let's pick him. You've had him pegged like 3 shows ago.
I just think he sees him as the next Kenny Clark, and I'm not saying that he's gonna be Kenny Clark, but I think there's traits there of Kenny Clark. You know what I mean? Where knifing in the middle, that quick step, that first step is pretty dang good. And I don't know, just a hunch feeling there that if he's still there in the 4th,
it makes sense.
You may go there. Let's go with Osa there. Let's continue to change this up from the Cowboys' point of view.
Yeah, let's do it.
Coming up on the 5th round, Foots, to close this mock draft out through the Cowboys lens.
I like what we got so far, Joe. It's really good, actually.
Here we go. Round 5. We're approaching our pick.
Rock roll, baby.
Rock roll, baby. This could be safety here. You're looking at the 5th round. You know, this is the average for the Cowboys adding a safety from 5th to 6th round, Foot. So let's do that. Let's get a safety here in the 5th. Unless you want to look somewhere else. You want to just take a peek at tight end?
Nah, I'm gonna stay away from these tight ends. Darby, he'll be my threat over the middle. I like what I have in Schultz.
So safeties: Derek Forrest, Brady Breeze, Tariq Thompson, San Diego State. I want to say that they met with, who did they meet with at San Diego State?
I think it was Thompson.
They met with somebody. Was it Tariq Thompson? Man, I can't remember.
That'd be funny if he replaces another San Diego State player.
I don't like Ford. He didn't test good.
Yeah, Press Ford, I'm good on. He had a lot of buzz early on.
Lamar Hamlin. The Pittsburgh guys didn't test well at all.
Yeah, they didn't run well. That's the problem. Got to be able to run in this league.
Oh, it was this guy. Darren Hall's the guy that the Cowboys met with virtually. But I haven't watched film on him. I couldn't make a good. I wouldn't. I can't even comment on it. I know they met with him virtually. I need to catch up and check the tape on him, Foots. But that's a guy you and I can look up here. That's Darren Hall out of San Diego State.
Well, I was hoping that LeCounte would still be around. He's not.
But Cowboys selection here. They may not go 5th. They might go 6th and get Hall there in the 6th. Is there another position you want to look at?
You can always go back to the well with edge. Let's go back linebackers, Joe, because we got to think about this too. Understand it? Oh yeah, if KJ Britt's there, I'm taking him. Because think about this right here, Joe. We don't know what's gonna happen with LVE. Yes, we got Pete Warner, and every Cowboy fan in America wants to push Jalen Smith off a bridge. So they've shown in years past that they will double dip. We already got our edge. I like our edge with Basham that we brought in a free agency. But my linebacking core with losing Joe Thomas, I wouldn't mind. And if KJ Britt is right there, sign me up. Double dip at backer. Now your defense is certified. Okay. And at safety, you're just is now Donovan Wilson or bust, but the middle of your defense is now in good shape.
KJ Britt, the pick. Let's go with that. You're double dipping at linebacker.
We like KJ Britt, Joe.
Yeah, we do like him. And somebody, one of our subscribers mentioned that there's a Cowboys connection there.
Mm-hmm.
No, Brandon Williams, I don't know. I don't agree with that. Britt is not good.
Nah, Britt's a good player.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, the guy, he was great at the Senior Bowl too. That's all I need to see from him. But I mean, as far as like football too, but KJ Britt, who was it? There's a connection there with. I think somebody said that there was a coach on their staff that was a former Cowboy or something like that. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was somebody related to Joe Witt or related to Will McClay. I can't remember. If you're watching live, I forgot which subscriber it was, but somebody mentioned there was a connection there with KJ Britt and somebody with the Cowboys staff. If you're watching or watching on the replay, let us know.
If you're watching, let us know.
Let's get to some super chats. Ruben Leo Jr. Pound that like button, Puro Pinche Cowboys. I finally get to watch you guys live because I'm a truck driver and work. Nice. Shout out to you, Ruben.
Ruben, stay safe out there, man. Don't be crashing.
Yeah, shout out to you, Primo. That's great, bro. Appreciate that love there, man. Appreciate you. You will be entered in that contest too, Ruben. So make sure you check back on the 26th on Monday. You might win yourself a badass cap sponsored by the Lunatic. So you're in the mix there, brother. Joe
has the hat game on lock, all right?
Got another one here. Going by Owen. Cowboys should get J.C. Jackson if you tell me to play man and get up and be physical board. I trust him and Diggs for sure. So I hadn't seen J.C. Jackson, so I can't comment on him. Foots, have you looked at him?
I like J.C. Jackson, but give me Surtain. Let's just go play ball. True outside guy. Now you have Diggs and Surtain, 2 lockdown corners on the edge. Gonna be feisty. Gonna get after it. Yeah.
Thank you for that. There, good commentary there. Somebody, I'll take a look at that one. I haven't looked at him myself.
He's a good player, but you only have so many like 1 grades on these. You only have so many 1 grades on these corners, Joe. So
yeah,
you don't want to play around with that position. If you want corner and you want a premier guy, after maybe like Kelvin Joseph and Asante Samuel Jr. starts getting thin, man, you got to get your guy. Because like I think that Paulson Adebo, because corner is such a high premium position, I think he'll be gone by the end of the second. So, and I've had him pegged as like my guy in the third, but he's starting to pick up a lot of pubs. So,
yeah, no, that's definitely true. That's true, bro. So just a quick recap of our Cowboys through the Cowboys lens. We got Surtain. I think that's a no-brainer there. Joe Tryon, right? Edge rusher out of Washington. Frank Darby, the wide receiver. That's that's a a McCarthy special there. Second or third round.
You hit that, Joe. You knocked that one out the park. People aren't thinking receiver, and they should be, because we gotta understand our head coach is an offensive minded coach. You gotta understand.
Yeah, that's a very good reminder for us. And he likes to push that ball down the field and yard after the catch guy, Frank Darby. Those hands. That would be like, if anybody's like, everybody here watching is educated here, right? And they're getting more names out there. But for the real casual fan that just watches the NFL draft, they see a wide receiver in the third round, Frank Darby. They will come out and be like, "What the hell are the Cowboys doing? We just got CD Lamb and this and that," but they're not thinking long ball, the long game, right, Foots?
Hey, my man, Josh. Hey, look, he's spot on though. I think Joe knocked it out when he said, "Listen, I think we have the best fans when it comes to education.
Mm-hmm.
However, this year, let's make sure that we don't overreact to, a pick like Joe said. If they go receiver in the third and they haven't drafted a safety or your linebacker from your alma mater, don't freak out and cuss me and Joe out when we say it's a good pick and it can make sense. Because guess what? Like Frank Darby is rated higher than, I like him more than like even a Pete Warner, for example. I mean, he's a really good player. And you saw the success that not Deebo Samuel, but he actually his teammate from San Francisco, he played at Arizona State. Arizona State's becoming like a really good program.
And who's that coach over there?
Herm Edwards.
There you go. So that's what I want to get to across. Herm Edwards, pro level coaching. He likes to compete. We play to win the game. So he's instilling these in his players. You know what I mean? And guys, if you Google Frank Darby, go look at his play. He's got some behind the scenes stuff. This guy is a natural born leader, and he can back it up with his play on the field. So I love that pick there. If we don't get him, somebody's getting a hell of a player.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Warner, yeah, that linebacker for sure will be addressed for us. I like that one. And the Cowboys will get that guy. Walker Little, offensive tackle. If they don't go O-line with that first pick, which in this mock draft, that was a really good start. Because look at this. It was Trevor Lawrence, Zach Will, Trey Lance, Justin Fields. 4 quarterbacks right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, that's real too, Joe. Like, yeah. That's real. Like, extremely real.
This has been one of the more accurate type of simulators I've come across, Foots.
Well, I tell you what, I've always said when they moved up, I said it's not for Fields or Mac Jones. I said it's for Trey Lance.
Yeah.
And April said, I wish you guys would do a draft show together. I think Joe, what are you doing draft night?
Draft night, I will be live. So
We'll probably both go live when the pick comes in, run those views up because that's when we all can eat. YouTubers can eat because casual fans just jump to YouTube. It's not our YouTube community, April. So casual fans just jump to YouTube and they want to know. So it's a good time for YouTubers to really be able to eat. Just being honest.
Yeah.
And so then April's been with us. She was with us at the draft show. April, she's so cool.
Yeah, April, she is such a sweetheart.
But I think after that, me and Joe we'll probably do a recap. We'll go live.
There you go.
We'll recap the first pick together. But it's always good for each channel to kind of get their say so off, and then we roll. Whatchamacallit? What would you guys need as comp? Did you want to read that one, Joe?
Yeah, so this is UT 2005. Appreciate the super chat, bro. What would you guys need as compensation to trade down to 15 or 19 from 10 overall?
If I'm going to 15, I need a 3. If I'm going to 19, I need a 2 and a 3. Screw that. I'm trying to fleece somebody. One of these teams that got a lot of picks. Hey, if you got a second, if I get wiped out, I would do that.
And it could happen. This draft was almost wiped out. I mean, if Surtain would have been gone, maybe Horn would have been the pick. But interesting start to this mock draft by the simulator. Very interesting. 15 or 19. So you're looking at the Patriots. You're looking at Washington, which that is not out the question. The Cowboys have traded before in their division. That has happened. They've traded with Philly. They've traded with Washington. But yeah, I'm with Foots on that. You would need a 3rd at least for the 15 and a 19. With Washington, I'm poking their eyes out. You're gonna hook me up.
Yeah.
Hook me up.
Listen, I'm fleecing you. You dig?
Yeah, especially in our division. Brad Cannon, 499. Guys, who is your biggest sleeper in this draft, Foots?
Oh, that's easy. Jevon Collins and Nick Bolton are probably my 2 biggest sleepers. I would love for Dallas to pick. The problem is that Jevon Collins will probably come in and play the position that LVE plays. I don't see him as I don't see him playing Jalen Smith's position. So I don't see Dallas drafting him. And then Nick Bolton, I just think that he's just been forgotten. It's ridiculous how fans are even like the Jamin Davis kid. I like him, but I'm not going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Whereas I just think Nick Bolton's a better player than Davis. I know the testing scores were great and all that stuff, but I'm cool. Like I would much rather have Nick Bolton over Jamin Davis. That's just me.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way to close it out, Foots, is that we're kind of going full circle here. That was the exercise with our safety discussion earlier, because we're going full circle because it was Holland, it was Cisco that were early conversations with safety. And then, Grant popped up and then Merrick popped up. So, and then here with our draft coverage, you kind of have to go back to your original evaluations and not go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs like Foots is saying here. There's always that those smoke and mirrors. At this time of the year, it always happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Brad. Appreciate you there, guys. So I think that's going to be it for today. Great show, Foots. Thanks for joining. I mean, this was killer. I mean, if you're catching this on the replay, guys, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share.
This was money. For sure.
Yeah, money. Go back and hit that up and hit up these guys that we drafted in our 5-round mock draft as far as who the Cowboys could look at. Not what Foots and I or the fans want. We put a lot of names out there for you guys that Cowboys could be looking at. So, Foots, if they haven't found you already, where can they find you at, bro?
You guys hit me up at Footsdaking on Twitter. Joe has it right there. Shoot me a follow. Hit me up on IG. It's all the same. And then on YouTube, I'm Cowboys Nation TV. Although I might change that soon to just Footsdaking. I don't know. I've been contemplating. But anyway, me and Joe, I just want to say I'm proud of our work. I think it's very authentic, and I'm going to keep saying this. We were kind of like the first to really bring that underground Cowboys coverage. I was listening to some stuff we were doing back in 19 and in 18 when we had the huddle. Yeah. So you guys who have been with us, thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely, guys. But that's all we have, guys. We'll catch you another one. We will be back at it here for another show. You can believe that. And we'll catch you for the next one, guys. Peace.
Rock roll.